Hey, what's up guys? It's Pete. Unfortunately, we don't have a printer to show you today, so I thought I'd just kind of like stand here and talk about the philosophy of inkjet color label printing. We're gonna go over the history.
Hey Pete, the new Epson printer's here.
I gotta go get that. I'll be right back. Looks like I was wrong. We just got a brand new Epson ColorWorks C6000A inkjet color label printer. You know what that means? Another unboxing video. So let's get started. Now, since we've done so many unboxing videos on the C6000 series, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and then I'll just show you what's inside the box, and we'll skip right to the setup to speed things up a little bit. Just like with our other printers, we're gonna have our four 80 milliliter Epson ColorWorks CMYK ink cartridges. We'll have our USB cable, and then we'll have our user manual and software installation disc. You actually won't need this. We're gonna have our links to the current Epson drivers down in the description below. Don't forget to download those so you can work with your printer as soon as it's ready. So now the last thing in the box is gonna be our printer. Let's go ahead and get that out and get it up on the table. Now there's quite a bit of plastic and tape on these printers, so before you get started with your printing, you want to make sure you remove every bit of plastic, tape, and protective foam that's on the printer when it's shipping. Once you open your printer up, you'll find that Epson has provided a roll of die-cut 4x6 blank labels with a black mark so that you can test your printer in multiple modes. One of the other things you need to make sure you remove is a plastic buffer that's used to keep the printhead in place while the printer is in shipment. Be sure to remove this very gently so that you don't damage the printhead. Now that all the tape has been removed from our printer, you can plug in your AC power cable. Once that's in, you can go ahead and hold the power button on your printer until the blue light comes on and Epson appears on the screen. From here, you'll be brought into your startup menu. For my language, I'm going to select English. For my daylight savings time, well, it's winter while I'm filming this. If you need to, you can update the date and time right now, but for me, it's correct already, so I'll just leave it and hit OK. Select your time format. Once again, confirm that the time format is correct on the printer. And the printer will then say the initialization is starting. Here's where you install your ink cartridges. In order to do that, you'll just open the left and right ink compartments, and then take your ink cartridges one by one, and you'll find the color that matches the cartridge and install the cartridge upright with the text facing forward in the upright position. You'll know when the ink cartridge is fully inserted because the small blue lever will click into place. Once you're done, we can close those ink doors and move on with the process. If you need additional help, there is also a how-to option on the menu. Just hit OK to access that. If you're ready to move on, we can just hit the right arrow button once and then hit OK. Now, I've actually forgotten to do something here. There's a blue release lever on the inside of the printer that lets you take the labels out when they've been loaded. On my printer right here, I now have an error screen that says close release lever. So let me show you where that is in case it happens to you. I'm getting the error on this printer because this blue latch was left up after I removed the tape. I can go ahead and close the lid again, and resume the process. Now there are a variety of errors you can get if you've perhaps forgotten to close one of the ink drawers, maybe the head cover, or the rear latch. Once you've fixed it, you can just unpause your printer and it will move on with the process of installation. Once the printer is ready, it'll move back into initialization mode. This may take up to 20 minutes, so now is a great time to go to those links down in the description and make sure you download the Epson drivers for this printer. If you've already done that, or maybe have some extra time, don't forget you can also head over to InfinityLabelGroup.com and buy accessories, maintenance items, or ink for your printer. Alright, so we're back at our printer after about 20 minutes, and we have a screen that says initialization is complete. Go ahead and dismiss that message, and right about now, you're actually ready to print. Now the first thing you're going to want to do before you print is load your paper. Makes sense, right? Well, there's a couple things you need to check. Now, like I said before, Epson sent us this roll of labels that's both black mark and die cut. So while this is set on gap detection, this would actually work for me in my demonstration. However, some of you out there might be using continuous labels. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a label just like this, except there's no gap. One of the benefits of the C6000A is that it has the ability to cut between labels. If you have continuous labels, you're going to need to go into your media settings, scroll down to your media detect, and change it to none. If you happen to be feeding your paper from the rear, well, you're going to need to go down to media source and change it to rear feed. Once again, like I said, I'm not doing either of those things, so I'm going to switch this back to internal and I'll switch this back to gap. Just make sure that you're working with the settings that apply to your labels. Now before I move on, the other thing people tend to notice is that their ink cartridges show about half full, or half empty depending on how you feel. I just want to let you know that this is an indication of how much ink is left in the cartridge, not how much ink is left in the printer. Where'd the other half of that ink go? Well, it's inside the printer, pushed up to the print head so that the printer is ready to go with seamless printing between ink replacements. Now we actually have the hard part of loading the printer out of the way, and that's setting the media settings correctly. The easy part is just opening the latch, removing your spool, pinching these blue tabs to remove the shield, sliding your new labels on, trying to push from the cardboard core, if you can see here, so that the labels don't telescope. And once those are firmly onto the roll, you can take your shield and slide it back on. Put that back into the printer, trying to get it inside these grooves. But you'll notice if it's not in them because it stays in there pretty securely once it is. Now you can take the leading edge of your label, slide it into the printing mechanism until the printer takes the label from your hand. The label should be firmly in place. We can adjust our outer media shield to make sure that it's not too tight around the label, and we can go ahead and close up our top cover. One more time, let's come around to the front of our printer and hit the pause button to unpause the printer. Now at this point, you can hook your printer up via USB or network cable, and you're ready to start printing. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe you want to know something else about the printer that we haven't covered, go ahead and contact us at www.ipsiscan.com. Once again, if you need ink, maintenance items, or accessories, you can go to www.infinitylabelgroup.com and stock up today. This has been Pete, and I'll see you next time.